All right, so not a whole lot going on right now. I figured on this wonderful cold day where it's been raining for like the last 3 days nonstop. Temperature drops. We finally got into cold weather. Uh, Fired up this old kitchen stove. We're gonna see what it's doing, and we're gonna talk about the unpopular opinion on a very specific overlanding vehicle. But let's go and see. I've got my handy dandy Fluke digital thermometer. I'm gonna see what this thing's doing. Let's see here. I can't get the camera. All right, there we go. Figured out how to do my job. Um, so for those of you that are super young, and I mean, I'm not old enough to have grown up with one of these, but I understand the general concept behind them. Here is your firebox. You got two, I don't know, burner plate things. Got a big plate. This would be your water box for, I guess, adding humidity to the air. So actually a big, you can't hardly see. It's too dark. I don't have a flashlight on me. But it's like a big copper water chamber in there. The aged thermometer that's built in says that we're running about 100, probably about 140 there. On the top here, that one is about 600. That one is 454. And that one's 290. Over here, a whopping 72. And then right over the firebox, about 450, I guess. So I probably need to add another piece of wood to this. But yeah, it's working. I think I need to get some of those inductive fans that kind of sit up here and spin when they get hot to move some air, because it's nice and warm in this corner right here where this is. But as soon as you get about here where this is, which is not very far away, right about that much, yeah, not so much. You don't really feel the heat anymore. So I'm going to sit my butt in that chair, and we're going to talk the unpopular opinion of overlanding a Jeep Wrangler. So, one moment. All right. So, overlanding a Jeep Wrangler. I get it. Jeep Wranglers are fine. They're great little off-road vehicles. I own one. I like it. I do. I can't really complain. I mean, coming from a full-size Jeep family, always having Wagoneers, J10s, full-size Cherokees, had a couple of XJs over the years. I really like the Wrangler. I think it's capable. I think it's good. For overlanding, though, I think it's about, I don't know. I think it's right up there with trying to overland like a Jimny, or Suzuki Samurai. But they've got no payload, and they've got no capacity, no tow capacity. That just ends you right there. Now, if you're like one of those super uber great minimalists, and maybe you come from a background of like long-term hiking expeditions where you know how to buy and get the lightest weight product ever created so that it gets you through and does what you needed to do, fine. Maybe the Wrangler then is ideal for you to overland. But in all honesty, I think on mine, everything that I've been able to research, and this is going to be limited to the JKs. The JLs changed. I don't know. I didn't look at the JLs. I own a JK. I focus on a JK. The vast majority of the builds I see that aren't Gladiator, the new Gladiators, are JKs. I've seen a couple JLs, but mostly it's JKs. So, for the numbers I've been able to get, for a properly outfitted JK, You have a 1,000-pound payload capacity and a 3,500-pound tow capacity. And a lot of the arguments for using a JK revolve around getting like hyper expensive ultralight trailer things, and that's about it. You know, everybody just goes, get the lightest weight trailer you possibly can. So, okay, let's say you get your trailer and you max out at 3,500 pounds, and you use a basic average, 10% total trailer weight is going to be tongue weight. So 10% of 3,500 pounds is 350 pounds. You have a 1,000-pound payload capacity. So with 3,500 pounds worth of trailered weight at a 350-pound tongue, which tongue weight transfers to payload, you have already lost 350 pounds off of your gross payload capacity. So at 1,000 pounds, you've lost 350. That puts you at 650 pounds? Okay. The average adult male in the United States is dropping, 190, 200? You put a lift kit, you added weight, you put oversized tires, especially everybody wants to go 35s. You know, nobody can run 33s anymore, God forbid. And honestly, shoot, people don't even want to run 35s anymore. Everybody's got to run 37s or 40s. Which, I understand, in some parts of the world, it's necessary. I get it. We used to have a power line trail where I was from, where when I was a kid, a decent truck on 33s could do it. By the time I was an adult, if you didn't have 42s, you were getting sunk to the axles. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that cause that, but it's the progression of the trail, and it happens. Well, yes, absolutely. In some instances, you do need mega-sized tires. A lot of the stuff I see people using Overlanders on, you don't, though. A 33, 35 tops get you through all day long. And of course, your mileage will vary, because I'm sure all of you live in a Louisiana swamp or a Florida swamp where, that line of logic just isn't going to happen. Fine. It's the internet. Everybody else is right. But, okay, so if you put an aftermarket off-road bumper on, you've added weight. If you put a winch on, even with a synthetic line, you've added weight. You put a rear bumper, you've added weight. Let's just say your tires, let's just call the lift neutral. Let's just say that even though there's more mass in the lift springs than there were in the OEM springs, let's just call it neutral and say that it doesn't add anything. And all you've done to this Jeep is get your super expensive ultralight trailer, fill it up full of stuff, put a lift kit on it that doesn't change anything, and you go to a 33-inch tire. If those tires weigh 10 pounds more than the original tires that were on, okay, and you get a full set, so you have a matching spare, 10 times 5 is 50. You've already got 350 pounds of trailer weight added. Now you've added 50 pounds of tire weight. You're out 400 pounds of your 1,000 pounds. You get in it, let's say that's 200 pounds. I mean, I'm a skinny dude, and I'm, 190, 195, fully clothed. If it's wintertime and I got big jackets and stuff on, it's more than that. Closer to 200, so, And now you got your 50 pounds of tires, you got your 350 pounds of trailer weight, you get your 200 pounds of you. Well, now you got 400 pounds. You put a decent sized cooler, like a weekend sized cooler. Let's just take not one of them big, put a dead body in coolers, but, what are they, like 2 feet, 2.5 feet by foot and a half by foot and a half. I don't remember what they are. 24 gallon, I think, is what it is. Put 24 gallon cooler, some ice, food and drinks in there. Then you're probably going to want a sleeping bag, pillow, maybe another blanket. You're probably going to want some, I don't know, maybe you got a dog. You're not dealing with a whole lot of extra weight, surplus weight. And that's really why I think these things are bad. And I think the idea of utilizing them for this application is working the vehicle outside of its parameters. I'm sure everybody's seen the meme of the big F-350 or Ram 3500 or Chevy 3500 with the slide-in camper and the frame, broken in half. Or brand new trucks, trucks that are 6 months old at best. It's because they don't understand the weight capacities on these things. And the more outfitted you get of a truck, the more it's initially going to weigh, which is going to cut down on your overall payload capacity because the more weight will already be on the truck. If you're, and as bad as it is, in a lot of instances, a stripped down two-wheel drive truck in the same weight class will have a better overall payload capacity than like the fully loaded, Uber Platinum Titanium. I don't know. The Ford names always stick out to me because they're metals. But whatever the super trim package is, because that one's going to have all this extra heavy things. It's going to have more electronics. It's going to have like seat motors and things of that nature. And a lot of people go, oh, that doesn't weigh a whole lot. But yeah, you throw half a dozen seat motors at something, and all of a sudden you go from, a quarter-pound object to having 3-4 pounds worth of stuff bolted to the bottom of the seat. Weight adds up quicker than what people think it does. And when you get weighted, when you have too much weight in the vehicle, especially when you couple that with things like oversized tires or adding weight above the center line. Let's say you put a tent or rack or something on the top of your vehicle, and you're getting that weight further and further up from the lower points. And I'm not necessarily focused on tipping over, but you do put that weight load up. Your suspension's not designed for it anymore. A lot of lifted suspensions don't hold the same load capacity that OEM springs are designed to load. They just don't. You see it a lot in big trucks. There's a reason in full-size trucks where you go and you put a 3 or 4 inch lift on it, and then you put an adequate load, a completely and totally adequate load in it, and the truck overly squats in the back because the springs aren't designed for it. Now, this isn't always true. You can get springs designed and all sorts of stuff, but there's a big draw for having those airbag helper bags in the back. They're not helper bags. They're giving you a false sense of confidence because you've overloaded whatever the daggum spring rate is on the springs that you've got in your vehicle. Anyway, your brakes aren't adequate anymore. It puts more stress on your steering. It massively unbalances your suspension. It's just not a good idea. And I understand, I think, in the case of the Wrangler, why so many people want to overland it, because it's popular, it's cool. You can shake a catalog and have every single thing you want fall out for it. Anything your heart could desire or imagine, and if it's not available in that catalog, I bet you could reach out to a dozen or more different providers and have it, and talk to them and have it built for you. It's ridiculous what's available for Wranglers in the scope of car building and things like that. Really, it's ridiculous what's available for Wranglers, and so it makes it easy. It makes it desirable. It makes it something attainable, because you can just be like bloop 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 and put it on and it's done. But it doesn't make it right, and it doesn't mean that your Jeep is going to A, be able to handle it, B, function properly after you've done it. And you might end up actually disliking the vehicle more than you thought you did, because it becomes a little bit more ungangly, or just, little issues. It doesn't brake as well anymore. It doesn't do this as well anymore. It doesn't do that as well. Well, you've exceeded the parameters of what the vehicle was designed to do. And I get it. Everybody, you can't hide credit. Everybody likes it. I can bury jars of money in the yard. You ain't ever going to know I got any. But, man, you got good credit. Everybody and their brother knows about it. Till it turns into bad credit, at least. And, you can throw a lot at it. Okay, well, I upgraded the axles so the axles can hold more. And I put bigger brakes on it so it stops better, and this, that, and the other. Funny thing is, yeah, you've made it stronger, you've made it more capable. You haven't actually technically changed the allowable parameters of the weight load. It used to be a big thing. I can remember in the 80s and the 90s, it used to always be, you got a full-size truck, and it'd be like, I got 3/4 ton springs in it, I got 1 ton springs in it. You always went up a payload, so if you had a 1/2 ton, you put 3/4 springs in it. You had a 3/4, you put 1 ton springs in it, and everybody was, woo, I done this. And but as far as anybody coming and messing with you, and the likelihood of people getting messed with varies for a lot of reasons, but you have to keep that in mind. If the man was to come and check anything on it, you'd be overloaded, because it goes off of what the truck was built. It matches up to your VIN number, matches up to all of this other little stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that you took a 1/4 ton vehicle and dropped 1 tons in it and are running it like it's a damn 5/4 ton Humvee up and down the road. It just doesn't work that way. I like the Wranglers. I think they're great. I think they're good. I think that the Wrangler is a poor Overlander because it doesn't have payload capacity. It just can't handle it. I don't know what a good substitute is. I guess everybody would say kind of go for the 4Runner, or maybe the WK2s, or the Grand Cherokee in general, I guess. They do have a bit more payload capacity and tow capacity. But I think your best bet, kind of with the Wrangler, I don't know. I don't know. Your best bet with the Wrangler is do the least amount of weight adding mods and figure out how to be a minimalist and figure out how to afford the lightest weight carrying stuff, or stuff to carry with you, that you can. If you can choose aluminum instead of steel, go with it. If you can choose carbon fiber, go for it. If you can buy titanium, go for it. Because it's like I told a guy that used to drag race. He was a quite heavy guy, and he kept trying to get wait and wait and wait. He kept trying to get more and more speed out of his car. And finally, one day I looked at him and I was like, the best thing you can do for your car right now is either hire a driver or stop eating cheeseburgers. Weight will kill you. Weight, just, you can't. You can't do it with the weight. Like I said, I don't know what a good one is. I don't have an Overlander. I don't plan on, well, I've been toying with the idea of building an Overlander, but building a big one for the whole family to go. So it'd be like a two and a half ton truck. But I don't think that the Wrangler is really a good base. And I know the internet's going to disagree because I've seen them. There's, 5 million Wrangler Overlanders out there. Just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean it's right. And just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. Take some things into consideration like that. Pay attention to your payloads. Pay attention to how overloading a vehicle is detrimental to the vehicle. You do have to look at not just your safety and the safety of the occupants, but what about the safety of the people next to you? What about the safety of the people that are around you while you're doing this? And that's a personal responsibility. I'm not going to tell anybody. I don't think there's a lot of things that I don't think we should have to do. But I do think that you should be personally responsible for the things that you do consciously choose to do. And, overloading a truck and using it beyond its capacities is a conscious decision that you make. It's an unpopular opinion. I know. I've rambled. I think I said what I need to say. The Wrangler is not a good overland vehicle. And I really don't see why so many people use it, other than the fact that it's just cool, hip, and everything in their brother is available for it. So, hopefully I got my point across. Hopefully everybody gets out and has fun. Do what you're going to do. Be smart about it. Don't do dumb things. Well, do dumb things. Don't do dumb things that are going to get other people hurt. And don't do dumb things that are going to cause you 3 times the work and headache in the long run. And, like I say, go out, have fun, do what you're going to do. Just be smart about it. That's it. That's all anybody can ask for. All right. See ya.